I want to show the folks at home what this website has that is terrific, and this is it, right?
Oh, cool.
Equipment. These are Bobby's drums. He didn't bring them all to the studio today.
Right.
You have a lot more drums now. Why do you need this many drums, Bobby?
Well, it all depends on the situation, but I almost have almost everything, but at the end you'll see a segment from the Modern Drummer Festival you'll see that you saw a little bit of before, and you saw the complete kit. But the reason you use more drums and more of these metal plates called cymbals is to express yourself in different ways. Sometimes you want to sound like of a bell. Or sometimes when you're playing jazz, instead of a sound like this, you want a different pitch to accompany a different soloist, etc. Just different colors. And of course, when we play Afro-Cuban rhythms, cowbells, we need them for various things. For example, if you're playing a style of music known as songo or timba, which is modern contemporary Cuban styles of music, these types of bells are really good for that. I can use other bells for fills, etc., to get more melodies, For example, okay, so you can get melodies on the drum sets too, because on all percussion instruments, because we just don't play rhythm, we play melodies. But if you touch an icon, we won't hear it here, but if you go to the website, you touch that, you'll hear the sound of the cymbal. Here's another cymbal, here's a bell, etc. So you can get all of that when you go to the website.
And it explains to you on the top here what it is that you're playing.
Exactly.
It's wonderful.
Exactly. It's just a little part, a little way of sharing with the public, and of course drummers and percussionists, give them a little bit more insight into what I'm about, what I do. And it's a form of education too, because people think this instrument is just for making noise, etc. It's not. It's probably the most difficult instrument to play, simply because anybody can get a sound out of a drum if you just hit it with a stick, with your hand. But to make music out of these things is very difficult, and we put that on a premium in the jazz
It's all
world.
about, more than anything else, hand coordination, right?
Sure, doing various things with your limbs, etc. And we got to that point in the 1940s with the great drummers of what became known as the bebop era. Before then, people used to keep time like this. Up until the mid-30s, you keep time on the snare drum and do what we call 4 on the floor, like this. There's 2 and 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you keep sort of like a military cadence on the snare drum. But then drummers like Papa Joe Jones, the great drummer with Count Basie, he started using the hi-hat. And then transferred the timekeeping to the ride cymbal. So in the bebop era, we get the bass drum and the left hand conversing with each other. And I remember Mario Bausat distinctly telling me, "Where do you think that came from, Bobby?" And I go, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, the first bebop drummer, Kenny Clark, who started doing that, he used to come see the Machito Orchestra all the time, and he used to see the conversations that the bongo player would have against the conga player." Now, I don't know how true that is, but Mario used to wink at me and then walk away. So, coming from a person who used to play polka with Jelly Roll Morton in the 1930s, more than likely it's true. But to give you an example of that, again, keeping just time on the bass drum with the ride cymbal, this hand's converse, and now we're going to converse between the bass drum and the left hand. That's what we call dropping bombs in bebop. All of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, boom. It creates a dialogue within the drummer and also creates excitement within the music. But of course, it has to be done tastefully within the music.
In Latin music, we have a word, in Spanish, we have a word, clave.
Right.
What is a clave?
Well, the clave is the fundamental building block of what we call of Afro-Cuban rhythms. And we have two types of clave. Let me go over the first type, which is the clave de rumba, which is utilized in contemporary Cuban music like timba, songo, etc., fast forms. And also, it's used in ancient forms of music, but also in a style known as rumba, which is the street music of Havana and Matanzas. And that actually comes directly from Africa. If you listen to this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and you hear this ancient West African bell pattern. Inside this bell is the clave, what we call la clave de rumba. And what I'm playing right now is the ceremonial rhythm from the Yoruba people in Nigeria that was brought to Cuba during the colonial period. And it's still played today in the Santeria tradition for the ceremonies. And in the ceremonies, we have different praise songs for the different deities. So I'm going to sing to the goddess of the wind, Oya, since we've been having some storms here lately in New York. Oloyate, ibariba chekete, oloyate, ibariba chekete, agoima golona, Oya la finda ere oloyate.